They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They're on tour, and you should go see them tour. They're coming to Birmingham, Alabama this coming weekend, and all of these other places too. Skew. Yeah.
Yeah, here we are. Cut
Yeah,
that promo, Joe.
yeah,
I
we
can
are
do it.
here. We are here, and you know where we're going to be this weekend, Friday and Saturday, July 23rd and 24th. We're going to be in Birmingham, Alabama at the Stardome, one of the, if not the greatest comedy clubs in the country, and we're super pumped. You can get the tickets at wellredcomedy.com. Not individually, but together. This is the first shows back for the WellRED crew, and I myself am I'm pumped beyond all measure. I'm anxious. I'm excited. I'm scared, but in a good way. How you feeling?
Yeah, mostly the same way. Drew's been out there beating the road up doing
Yeah.
shows, so he's way more prepped. Joe, have you been other than the goddamn MTV Movie Awards? Have you been on stage at all?
Not a one time. I mean, I've done stand up Zoom wise, but no,
Yeah, right.
not aside from the goddamn MTV Movie Awards. I have not. I kept. It's been one of them things where I'm like, okay. And first off, I live in like Chattanooga, Tennessee. I don't live in L.A., New York, where it's like, oh, I'll just go to such and such. It's like every single time I was like, okay, this week I'm gonna get up. We would have some sort of meeting because the pandemic wasn't 100% bad to us. We've had a lot of projects going on, and frankly, I just let it get beside me. And then I thought, you know what? Fuck it. Let's let the adrenaline take over. Let's go back out and let Birmingham, Alabama, slap you in the face with the dick of justice. You know what I mean? The dick of comedy justice.
Comedy dick justice.
Yeah.
I've done exactly one show. I do live in LA, but just so you know, it's hard to get these people to fuck with you. And I don't even mean the audience. I mean the people that book the shows and stuff. So it's not as simple as just walking out the door and going to a place, or at least in my experience, it isn't. So I got one show out here that I did 10 minutes and it actually went great, which pumped me up, but that's the only time I've been on stage in 18 months. Like you said, we did computer shows. Computer shows is different. The only time I've been on a stage in front of actual people was one time, like 3 weeks ago. And other than that, it'll be this weekend in Birmingham. Hope that don't scare people. Should excite you. It excites us. We'll see what happens. Yeah, come see how it goes. It's gonna be wild.
I was about to say I could understand as you said that why that would make some people be like fucking really, but to me it's exciting. It's super exciting. Going to shake because dude, here's how I operate. The rust will be shaken off the second I open my mouth to say one thing and get a laugh. That's how I roll. Some people can just play. You know what I'm saying? I just almost dumped my entire coffee on my keyboard.
That would have hit so hard if you had done that. Some people just got it that and fucking just spill coffee all over yourself while you're doing it. That would hit real hard. It reminds me, this just popped into my head, this memory. One time this was early on in the tour. It's been years ago now. This is probably 2016.
I know what you're about to say.
We're at some airport and I don't know why I even put up with this, but somehow I was the one who was going to carry the big ass bag of merch, the gigantic duffel bag of merch. I think because you and Drew already had like luggage shit, your own big ass luggage things, and like rollerboards and stuff. So we're waiting at the baggage.
I love how Trae was like, the only reason that I'm even doing this,
I never should have been doing that.
Y'all were already walking around.
It's like unreal that I was doing
banana
this.
Lady.
Unreal that I was doing this. But so we're standing there by the baggage claim, and your rollerboard had already come out, Joe, and so you've got it sitting there beside you, and you're waiting on me. And this big fucking duffel bag comes around and I grab it and like lug it over my shoulder, and it's awkward and huge and it clearly don't hit. And you looked at me and you go, looks like that don't hit. Click, click. And you slid up the rollerboard thing and just scooted off on the wheels out the door. and on your way out the airport door, your wheels got stuck on the metal divider at the bottom, and it flipped over, and you had a bag on top of that was unzipped, and it just all spilled out in front of the airport with all these people there milling about. Your shit spilled out everywhere. And it was one of the more satisfying experiences I've had in an airport in my life, given the timing of it.
It's so funny how memories work. I haven't thought about that really since it happened, but I can tell like that's something that whatever a spank bank is for Schadenfreude.
Yeah, dude, it was perfect.
A Hank bank, I don't know.
Looks like that don't hit. Click, click.
Yeah.
Then fucking immediately just spilled it everywhere.
That exact thing happened to me so much, like instant karma, like the world, like it, because I'm such a fucking cocky little shit. Like I'll admit it. But like that whole, some people just got it spills all over my keyboard. That it almost makes me believe in some sort of like, dude, I mean, some type of God.
I have a memory from my childhood. Of course, I was a fat, awkward dork, and that's obviously part of it. And also, this one annoys me because it's like, God damn it, I still feel like I was correct. But one time when that happened to me, I was with some friends in a fucking Walmart. We were like 13 or something like that. And I don't remember what brought it up, but we're on the subject of like being superstitious. And of course, me, the smart kid, the godless smart kid, I was like, dude, superstition's fucking ridiculous. There ain't that's stupid. There ain't nothing to none of that shit. And I swear to God, y'all, this is gonna hit for y'all. I don't think I've ever told y'all this. There was this big like maintenance ladder sitting there, like a two-sided ladder, like a A-frame type situation, a big ass tall ladder sitting there in the aisle we were in. And me and my buddies were talking about superstition, and I was like, that's fucking stupid. There's no such thing as that shit doesn't exist. And I said, I literally said, look, watch this, because it's supposed to be bad luck to walk under a ladder. I said, look, watch this. And I went through the underside of the ladder, and there was a crossbar running along the bottom that I didn't see. And I tripped over it and face planted and slapped my fat, stupid face off the fucking aisle of the Walmart floor right after calling them all dipshits for believing in superstition and saying, look, watch this. And that's the type of thing that sticks with you there. I think I'll be 80 years old, wake up in the middle of the night and have to pee, and that memory will just pop into my head of me doing that.
Oh, I'm certain. One that pops into my head for me is actually honestly a little bit more Raven and nuance, and it pertains to the tour. It's when and when I say that the tour has just started, I don't even know if we had done like a full week's worth of shows. And I damn sure know that you was still living in Oak Ridge because we were at your house. And I got a phone call. I was at your house. And
I remember this.
I got a phone call, and I looked down. It was a Chattanooga number. So I was like, oh, I'll pick it up. And I answered it, and it said, hey, Mr. Forster, this is the Chattanooga Times Free Press. And I go, oh shit, it's the paper calling for you, boy. They're probably wanting an interview or something like that. Y'all hold on. I was trying to be all cool. And I get back on. I was like, yeah, this is Corey. And they're like, we noticed that you don't have a subscription to the Chattanooga Times Free Press, and I was just like, God damn it. I think I about threw my phone through your wall.
No, you did. I remember from our perspective, like you said, your phone rang, you answered it, you put your hand over it, looked at us, you said, hey, it's the Chattanooga Times Free Press. I need to take this. And you like stepped sort of kind of out like in a sitcom where it's like, can I talk to you over here for a second? Where we clearly can still all hear you, but you stepped a few steps over, and you were like, yeah, this is Corey Forster. And from our perspective, you just went, God damn it. We asked you what happened, and you told us, and that's pretty good.
That was some Michael Scott shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. That was some Michael Scott shit. And but those are just the you know what? I'm looking forward to making new memories of me not hitting on the road. So go to wellredcomedy.com, WELLRED comedy.com. If you're joining us here on YouTube, you will see it going down here on the ticker the entire time. That's where you can go for tickets. like I said, we're going to be in Birmingham, Alabama this weekend. I can't wait. We're making our triumphant return to Denver. Be back in Atlanta. One show's already sold out, so grab them tickets because the second show, I mean, I assume it'll sell out. You know, we haven't been in Atlanta in a while, and we hit there, and wee, I'm excited. So, well, what's going on in y'all's lives? Drew, you look like you're in a car.
I am. I've been at the family cabin all weekend. It's in the middle of nowhere, and there's no Wi-Fi.
So are
A
you on
story like
data
that
right
kind
now?
of happened. Huh?
Are you on data right now?
Yeah.
Because you look fucking great.
Yeah, you do look great.
On my end anyway,
Dude,
which is
yeah.
wild to me.
StreamYard and an iPhone 12. That's all you need, kids. If you're thinking about getting into the podcasting game, there's never been a better time. The last show I did, it's kind of a story of the way you guys are just telling it in terms of the Schadenfreude. I don't know how to talk.
Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. I like that.
It wasn't quite as direct as y'all's stories, and it wasn't quite as bad. But we were outside smoking, and some people had been already gone up, and they were doing well, and I was going last. And this kid was like, "Man, I'm nervous or whatever." This was here in Nashville, and I said, "Yeah, well, your boy is about to set this motherfucking room on fire." And around that corner, right around that time, Theo Vaughn rounded the corner, literally wearing the same outfit as me. And the host immediately looked at me and goes, "Hey, you got to follow Theo, by the way." And I mean, I ended up doing fine. I took my hat off, even though my hair was looking bad, because I'm telling y'all, we had the same fucking outfit on, and ended up doing okay. Opening, talking about how I was poor Theo Vaughn, and about how my friend was like, "Do my show. It must be hard doing shows in LA if following famous people. Come do my show." And then he made me go last on a real long show when Theo surprised the crowd. So the crowd was like, "Oh my God, Theo Vaughn's here in this fucking basement." It's
right.
Theo
and
Vaughn.
That seems like the end of it, obviously.
He does 20. Yeah. Everybody does 10. He does 20.
And murdered.
And then Chance gets back up there and was like, "All right, we got one more." And literally, people were like, "Okay."
I know that seems like the end, but it's actually not. We got one more guy for you.
God, that reminds me.
Are you guys ready for not Theo Vaughn?
Dude, that reminds me of a very Raven thing that happened to me in Nashville, where I was doing a show for CMT, like not a showcase, like actually televised like show, and they, of course, this not CMT, the Grand Ole Opry Network Circle, and so I'd gone through like I'm really not even audition process, but like, okay, here's the material I'm going to do, and then they go through the whole thing of like, well, you can't do this, all that shit. And so I finally got it. We're like, okay, I got to edit it. It's my Civil War bit. At the time, I was like, this is my best bit. I can clean it up. They're like, don't do any politics. And I'm like, all right. I'll just tell you how the Civil War went, and y'all can just decide. And so, I've got this whole thing down. And when you're doing this show, all you can do, you have 5 minutes. And so you can only do the material that they have approved for you to do. There's no room to pivot no matter what happens. And I'm there and I've got it polished in my head. I'm like, okay, say this instead of this. It can't be dirty, da-da-da-da-da. And they came up to me and they're like, hey, would you mind if before you went, if John Christ popped in and did a guest set? And I was like, absolutely not. That'd be awesome. John Christ is a great comedian. I'll go up to a guaranteed hot crowd. John Christ went up and did this new joke he was working on all about the Civil War and Civil War reenactments and shit like that. And again, mine's different, but like
right. And you couldn't pivot at that point. You
couldn't pivot at all, and couldn't even bring up to the crowd, hey, I know this is kind of like I couldn't do none of that shit. Like, dude, none of it. Rough. Just had to go up and do the same shit. Yeah, it was fucking.
So how did that go?
Not well.
Dude,
that bit
brutal.
Does well. Like that bit does well. Now, granted,
but it seems to all the people in the crowd, like to them, it's like, does he not know? Does he not know that we just saw a guy fucking talk about all this for 10 minutes or whatever? But like you said,
I'd have been like, I'm about to do this. Y'all can edit out the first 30 seconds. I'm at the very least, I'm gonna tell these motherfuckers I'm not an idiot. It hits for me because I had the opposite on that same showcase a week later, where I burned the fucking stage down. It was literally the best showcase set I've ever had. And the guy after me also wanted to talk about, it wasn't hipsters. What else did I talk about? Oh, I had that story about kissing the guy at the honky tonk.
Yeah.
He had a story about being black at a honky tonk. It's different,
thing.
but it was like,
right. Yeah. But no, dude, it fucking, like, it was such a bummer, man. Like, it was just a huge bummer. But no, I didn't say anything. But I will tell you this: when I found out when the show was going to be on, and when they sent me the clip, I mean, I feel like a dickhead now, but I didn't promote that shit. I didn't tell nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, please, just
did they
God,
do
let
anything to it at all? Like, I've heard stories before of like,
they did some weird edits. Yeah.
I meant, like, I've heard, God damn it, who was it? I feel like
Mitch
there's a
Hedberg.
famous example.
It's Hedberg.
I was thinking it was Mitch Hedberg.
When they added the crowd in.
Yeah, of like Hedberg bombed in real life
in his special
in the taping, but they, put in fucking laughter and shit when in the show, and then it's like legendary now. Like, it hit real hard for people after the fact. So I thought that they would some people will help you out in that way, or
for
something.
the record. Well, no, when I watched it, for the record, when I say I bombed, it wasn't like, it wasn't zero laughs. I think it was really like what I expected because of that bit, it being so polished and how it always smashes. Like, when I watched it back, now hell, maybe they did add some crowd noise to it, and in my mind, I was like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and like they tricked me. If so, good on them. But man, I just remember just being so goddamn and again, nobody did anything wrong. I mean, I guess in hindsight, John should have been like, hey, buddy, you're not doing anything about the Civil War, are you? But I don't know. I didn't, I wouldn't expect it.
I mean, I don't think I've ever done that to some, when you got like showcase shows or whatever. I've never asked the people going on. As a matter of fact, that happened with me and Stuart Huff once, except it wasn't a taping, and I went before Stuart. Yeah. And we both had bits about the overlap between dumbass rednecks and Muslim terrorists or whatever. We both had bits about that, and Stuart was headlining, and I was before him, and I didn't talk to him or anything about it. I just went up there and did it, and it smashed. And then he just went up there and he was like, well, he was like, Trae, we're gonna overlap a little bit. I don't know any way around it. Anyway, and he just, kind of got into it, and it went fine. But also, I hope this works. I want to show this to the camera. I have no idea why Katie, my wife, just texted me this, but she just texted me this picture free of context. Hope y'all can see it. Look at this.
God damn.
Y'all see that?
Is that Doughboy playing with my bald head?
Yes, that is my son, Benton.
He looks so young.
Tapping on Corey's very bald head while Corey looks at his phone.
Man, I can't show you on my phone because I'm using my phone, but I've also got a video of him slapping my round belly. He used to like to beat on round stuff.
Yeah, he does. He does do that. I'd got speaking of that type of humor from the mouths of babes. I got a text yesterday that was a screenshot of a Snapchat group chat. That was a lot that I just said. And it was Amber's in-laws, and one of them, Kyla, who is my niece's grandma. She's the first grandma ever named Kyla, ever. I looked it up. Grandma Kyla, she's the first one. And she had sent a message to everybody that said, I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I came upon a picture of Corey, and Sadie, my 4-year-old niece, grabbed the phone and said, that's my Uncle Corey. He's bald. And for the record, in this picture, I very much had my hat on. She just had to let everybody know, like, he's living a lie on his gram. You know what I mean? He's very bald. He normally doesn't hit, but that's like a thing for her now. Every time she sees me, she goes,
it's a
you're
thing.
bald.
It seems like it's a thing for. It seems like
it's
I think it's a thing for just children in general. It's like bald is noteworthy to them.
Yeah, it is.
And also, kids don't know about social propriety.
Yeah.
Right. So like when because my kids have done that to you a million times. They're like,
Millions.
Corey's bald, whatever. Because it's like when they find out that somebody's bald, they're like, oh shit,
It's
that's
just so
different.
right.
Well,
They
and
immediately
then they bring
know.
it up.
They immediately know that it don't hit. Like
Right.
that's what people.
And they don't know not to just openly laugh at it. They're like, take your hat off. He's bald.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Dude, fucking you and my goddamn wife all the time are just like, oh, nobody cares, Corey. Nobody cares. You're the only one that cares. People don't inherently think bald people are blah, 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 blah. But dude, Mulaney's got a bit about it. Some other people have a bit about it. It's like fucking kids, man. They know, like, with no fat on it, how to get to the core of the thing that you're the most upset about. But also, they've never, it's not like they've been conditioned. You know what I'm saying? They just fucking know that this don't hit. They just know in their heart.
Even things
dude,
that like
my gut, like I got a puzzle cut. Even when I'm skinny, when I was little, my mom called me Ethiopian child. My belly just round. It's weird looking. He used to pat my belly and laugh. Maddox, my niece, when she was like 4, would poke it and laugh and say you're fat. And even when I'm skinny, it's round and sticks out. And they know that specifically is weird to be skinny but have that. And her half brother said it looked like a bowl of cereal one time.
but like those things are like things it's like that's different from regular humans, which they are aware of or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So you could see how they're like, oh, that's different and thus noteworthy and also funny to me. But it goes beyond that. They just have this sixth sense for saying shit like that. My own son, after we did one of our computer shows, one of our Zoom shows, which we did with Rush Ticks, the good people at Rush Ticks sent me a little gift bag or whatever, and it had a note in it. It had a card in it that was just like something like, thanks, Trae, yada, yada. You are such a pro. And it came in this big box, and the kid saw it. They're like, what's in that box? I opened it, and they were like, what's that card? And I read the card, right? And it was like, yeah. They said, thanks to me, Daddy. Thanks, Daddy. You're such a pro, right? And my sons love video games, and they watch YouTube and stuff. And to them, there's pros and there's noobs, right? In the video game world, there's pros and there's noobs, and that's the terminology they know. So I said, you are such a pro. And fucking Benton, when I read that, he goes, you're not a pro. And I said, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Corey. That's essentially what Benton was saying. He goes, you're not a pro. And I said, no, honey, they're not talking about video games. I was like, they're talking about comedy. They're talking about hilarious. Corey just had that preloaded to say, I love wieners.
It was when I was testing out StreamYard.
That's so funny.
God damn it.
But that could have went a couple different ways if it was just for you. But anyway, he was like, you're not a pro. And I said, no, they're not talking about video games, buddy. They're talking about comedy. And in the world of comedy, I am a pro, right? And he has no way of knowing. But I was like, in the world of comedy, I am a pro. And he goes, I swear to God, he goes, you're like maybe half a pro.
That's so
like,
true, dude.
It's so true. It's funny and true, but it's like, how in God's name could he possibly know that? But like, they just have a sixth sense for that. Like that Mulaney bit is so true.
Yeah,
like they know
the only
exactly the thing to cut to your core. Even
the only
if
way,
there's no way for them to know it.
Yeah, the only way that could be better is if he was just like, Daddy, I bet you were just stricken with imposter syndrome no matter where you go. It's like, yes, you're right, my child. Jesus Christ.
And today, Maddox, the 8-year-old, she's got she's real snappy. And I was mocking her.
Somebody that's related to you?
Yeah, she was asking me to do something. And I started mocking her. I was like, and she goes, good one, funny man. I bet you get paid a lot. But like sarcastically, and I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, dude, they're
brutal.
This happened with kids today. I'm taking a shit in the national park bathroom, and I'm just sitting there on my phone, and I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anyone come in. Suddenly, a child, blood-curdling scream, and you know those bathrooms like echo. It's all tile and block.
Yeah.
I mean, like fucking loud.
And those are murder bathrooms.
Yes, I jumped, but then it keeps going. Like, this scream lasted like 6 seconds. 3 seconds in, I mean, it's hurting my fucking ears. 3 seconds in, I go, fuck! And then I hear a little kid go, Mommy, the man said a bad word. He's coming
Was
and
it the same
screamed at
kid
me.
that was screaming? Like he
Yeah.
stopped screaming to tell on
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Why was he
was
screaming?
great.
Did you find out? I mean, they screamed for
never
no
did.
reason, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what, because
That's
she was
fun.
like, "You're not even in the right damn bathroom. Come in here while I change." So I think he was fine.
That's so funny. That reminds me of the story that I don't know if we've told on here or not. It's not obviously exactly the same thing, but it involves you doing the same thing, which is we were on tour in the great state of Florida.
My mama was there.
Your mama was there. We're in
I'm
the
gonna let you tell it, but you've told it like 4 times. But I'm gonna let you tell it.
Really?
No, he ain't
on
told
the
it on
show?
here. No, he ain't told it on here.
I think yeah. Look, I love this story.
Either way,
there's plenty
we're
of
on
people that
tour
ain't
in
heard
Florida. It's a Sunday. It's brunch time. It's time for we're in the window. It's time for us to eat something. We got shows later that night. Corey's mama's chauffeuring us around and whatnot, and we're in Orlando.
It was Florida during brunch, so someone had just said her name 3 times, and she appeared.
Yeah, she just appeared.
Yeah.
So, and it's everything's a mall, right? So we went into this very Florida mall type location. Fucking what's it, Bahama Mama or something like
or
that.
Another, yeah,
something like that. Bahama Mamas or some shit. We walk in there, and it's very brunchy. Bunch of white people sitting around having their mimosas and stuff, and they've got live music, and it's a very nice young black man playing an acoustic guitar and playing covers, right? Like yacht rocky type situation. And we walk through the front door, and he's in the middle of Blackbird by the Beatles, right? And we walk through the door, and he's going, "Blackbird singing in the dead of night." And Drew goes, "God damn it!" Fucking just
broken wings and learn to fly.
I thought I said Jesus fucking Christ.
What was it? You might have. Jesus
it was
Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And we are we are 6 feet away from this guy. The stage is right by the front door. We're right beside him, and he's like, "Blackbird singing in the dead of night," and he, Jesus fucking Christ, and he's like still singing while side eyeing. Yeah, don't ask why. Like looking over, like what the fuck?
Yeah,
and also all the white people with their mimosas were fucking like immediately like everyone could hear it is what I'm saying, and it's such a funny that's such a funny thing to do in response to that song is scream Jesus fucking Christ. Drew has changed his name to I Was Right.
It wasn't in reaction to that song.
Moment, the story hit for me. It was just so fucking funny.
Well, it wasn't in reaction to the song. It was an accidental reaction to that whole scenario of
you saw a black man living his best life.
The 3 of us, he wasn't even black. Y'all made that up.
Nah,
he was black. I swear to God,
black.
He was a black man with an acoustic guitar.
I know. It's just that with me, as it should be with all humans, it was irrelevant. But
that's true. You're right.
No,
I know.
I hear you, but it did matter for the story. I don't know why. It just made it better.
It makes it funnier.
We're not really brunch people. I mean, Corey probably has been or could be in a certain scenario. But like on the road,
for sure, dude.
But like on the road, it's like
on the road.
I know that people want to hear those songs while they eat eggs and drink mimosas, but we don't. Like a shitty Florida cover band. I'm hungover, like I just came out.
No, me and Trae, it didn't hit for us either. We just thought maybe we shouldn't scream at the black man who was just trying his best.
Oh, he didn't hear me.
He absolutely heard you.
We heard you.
Everyone in that fucking place heard you. I promise you.
Nah, they heard y'all scream laugh at it though. I bet.
How would we have heard it though? We was in the whole back of the restaurant and we heard it.
Y'all were right behind me.
No, we were right beside.
Well, all right. If we're telling on each other, I told this story recently.
Oh, God damn it! No, it's not it. We tell on you. You don't tell on us. It's not it.
Don't worry, I edit this thing.
DJ and I spent the weekend in Grayson, Kentucky, doing a fundraiser for a mutual aid fund out of Eastern Kentucky. It was very fulfilling. That's the word that I'll use to raise money for a community in a community. It was fucking rad. We had a good time. We can talk more about that if y'all want. But we went to the Huddle House and we had met these researchers. So we were a part of a whole event. And there were other performers there. One of the performers he read from his book. His name's Robert Gipe. He actually just sold script to Disney, but he's an East Tennessee writer, and he read from one of his novels. Well, he had these researchers kind of following him around, and they were doing like restorative justice work. I promise I'm getting somewhere with this. These folks were from like Brooklyn, New York, and they're doing research and outreach on restorative justice in rural areas. I didn't know this. Maybe y'all did. This is relatively new. Apparently, rural America has now surpassed urban America in terms of percentage when it comes to people in jail. We're number one, baby. So these folks were there from Brooklyn, these do-gooders, sweetheart, liberal, progressive people. They see it. They get this outreach thing. We volunteered to hang out at, and DJ and I both told our stories in terms of the law. Then we did our comedy show. They saw it. Then we go to Huddle House. We spent all day with these people. And at one point, one of these sweet little Brooklyn research hipster girls out of Huddle House in Grayson looked over at me and DJ and just goes, "You realize everyone in here is looking at y'all, right? Because we're just screaming at each other about how the fried chicken don't taste like fried chicken." We were stoned. It made no sense to nobody but us. They asked us about our cult. We were telling them about it, screaming, "You just got to eat fruit and fuck." So she got uncomfortable, and I said, "DJ, I ever tell you the story about Trae and Corey screaming about how Elvis dying on the toilet hit for them because that's the most Elvis way to go out, shitting yourself to death at a burger restaurant in Knoxville at 1 in the afternoon?"
I don't remember this at all.
I do. I remember it.
Were we with Rick?
Andy was with us.
Andy
and
was
was getting upset.
Andy's the only reason I noticed. I'm so used to y'all, I wouldn't even notice. It's 1 in the afternoon. They had a burger called the Elvis. It had peanut butter and banana on the burger. One of y'all ordered it, and then y'all started talking about how Elvis. You started talking about how much he hit, but then y'all were screaming.
He did hit
about how him shitting himself to death was the most Elvis way to die. And I swear to God, Corey was like, "That's how I'm gonna die. I'm gonna shit myself to death, baby." And Corey's like, "I know that's right. With pills too. It'll be pills. It'll be pills."
I think
and it's
happen.
1 in the afternoon, and I swear to God, I wouldn't notice. Andy goes, "Are they always like this?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Right beside us, I remember this story. Right beside us, there was a dad with 2 young daughters that were like the age of my sons, and it's so funny because, like, thinking about that, it's like if I was in his shoes, I would be so fucking annoyed by these drunken dipshits doing this right beside us. But at the time, me and Corey, my kids weren't there. Me and Corey were hitting. We're just fucking going off.
Kids. Fuck these kids.
That's how drunk dipshits work.
Yeah, that's true. We're always the loudest table in pretty much any given restaurant. I remember another one. We were, I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in Seattle, and we were with our manager at the time, who is a lovely Jewish woman, and we were talking about, like, God, I don't even remember, but somehow it got brought up, the idea of a racist cow, right? And somehow the idea of a racist cow, and the cow's name was David Allen Cow, right? Yeah. So when David Allen Cow got up, we started going, Jew. And we're alternating between saying Jew and dying laughing. And it's like 1 in the afternoon at this nice restaurant in Seattle, and she's just sitting there just like, God damn it. Because everyone in there can hear us saying Jew. And fucking we're just crushing ourselves. Yeah. And we do that type of shit.
And no one has the context.
No one has.
They just hear us saying Jew.
And we're the easiest people to take out of context on planet Earth. But we just have no regard for that whatsoever. But you know what I do have regard for? Nicotine alternatives. That's right. Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, a tobacco alternative that does not suck. Researched and developed for 3 years to be made for people and not patients, Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 different flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate, all of which hit. If you're not into those, though, Lucy has a lozenge also with 4 milligrams of nicotine, that comes in cherry ice flavor. Who doesn't like cherry ice flavor? Come on now. Each and every flavor tastes great. It's convenient and discreet. Products can be enjoyed anywhere, on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym. I always note that this is my favorite thing about Lucy because, you know, as somebody started smoking at 16, they won't let you smoke anywhere anymore. Then vaping came out, and I was like, oh shit, I can get my fix in public again now. I can vape on planes. Why not? It ain't smoking. No, they shut that down real quick. The people that outlawed the hits, they wasn't having none of that, but they cannot stop you from chewing Lucy, God damn it, no matter how much they might want to. And that's one of the reasons Lucy hits so hard. It's 2021, y'all. Get rid of your cigarettes, get rid of the vape, throw out your dip, get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. It is the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door every month. It's so simple. You don't have to leave your house because Lucy has got delivery down. So, WellRED listeners, go to lucy.co and use the promo code RED, that's RED, to get 20% off of all products, including gum or lozenges. It's up to you. That's lucy.co and use the promo code RED at checkout. As always, I'm legally required to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. And then I add, which hits. Lucy.co. Be sure to use the promo code RED, and we appreciate them continuing to sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, another thing that will happen when you're sitting there and you're a nice Jewish lady and people are doing impressions of racist cows, you'll get stressed out. If you're getting stressed out and you need to get calm, I suggest you take Caliper CBD. Caliper CBD powder is the only clinically proven fast-acting CBD. Caliper delivers 30 times more CBD in just the first 30 minutes versus CBD oil. Get all the benefits of CBD in just 10 minutes. Some CBD oils can take over an hour to absorb. Boo! Don't do that. Get Caliper CBD. Developed by food science experts with decades of experience, rigorously tested for purity and quality. Caliper CBD comes in convenient, easy-to-use packs. Precisely 20 milligrams in each packet, always THC-free. Feel better without the high. There's no weird taste. There's no oily residue. I love it. I got the lemon lime kind. It's like a little fun dip for adults. Mixes easily into any food or drink, or just hit it, go straight to the dome with it like you boy the cho. All natural, vegan, non-GMO, free of fillers, added chemicals, and artificial flavors. Get your 20% off your first order when you use promo code WellRED, WellRED. TryCaliper.com/WellRED. Go to TryCaliper.com. Son of a bitch. I messed up on the, hold on, look here. I'm going to fix that. Look here. Doing this live. TryCaliper.com. Hold on, have I done it right? There we go. TryCaliper.com/WellRED. Promo code WellRED to get 20% off your first order of some tremendous CBD.
Thank you so much for that. Wonderful ad, Corey. And I'm excited to talk about a sponsor. This is a relatively new one called Freshly. Listen, guys, Freshly is a great set of meals. I don't know. I can't talk right now, but I had it last week. Dinner time can be chaotic, but with Freshly, it's easy. They got chefs cooking their meals, all right? And everyone's trying to get in shape, eat right, all that. Freshly can help. Last week, I ate nothing but Freshly. I felt great. I lost like 10 pounds. That's completely true. I also stopped drinking. That was part of it. But I know Freshly was part of it too. These are chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals delivered fresh to your door. There's no cooking required. Nobody wants to cook anymore. You don't need to, okay? You don't want to go grocery shopping? You don't need to. Because with Freshly, your meals arrive cooking fresh every week, and you can keep your fridge stocked and skip the trip to the store. It's easy. You just go to freshly.com. You choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better-for-you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage baked penne, which is my favorite, or their chicken pesto bowl, which Andy liked a lot. Freshly can fit your lifestyle with a variety of plans and meals to pick from that work for your dietary needs, preferences, tastes, and family size. And right now, our listeners can try Freshly for just $6.16 a meal. That is a deal. So stop searching the internet for healthy food near me every night. Stop trying to put together a healthy meal and plan it out and cook all the time. $6.16 a meal. You can just do it right now and live your life freshly. So the meals are always delivered fresh, and you cook them in just 3 minutes. It's amazing. So right now they're offering our listeners $40 off your first two orders when you go to freshly.com/WellRED. So stop stressing about dinner. to freshly.com/wellread. You're going to get $40 off your first 2 orders, and it's going to be rad. That's freshly.com/wellread for $40 off your first 2 orders. And I'm not kidding, guys. I really enjoyed those meals a lot. I'm not just telling you that because they paid me to.
Yeah, I agree. No, I really, really, really enjoyed them myself. I had the buffalo chicken last week, and I will also be honest though. They sent me a lot of food, but I was only able to eat 2 of them because my wife had a couple cervezas and went to Freshly Pound Town in her mind and ate all of them. So I know they were good. So yeah, get you some Freshly, get you some Lucy, and try Caliper. We appreciate all our sponsors here at the WellRED Show. What the fuck were we talking about? Hey, I just saw Space Jam.
Oh yeah, the new one. How was it?
I mean, let me preface this by saying, A, I'm a huge toddler. B, I went into it with the mindset of this is a child's movie. It really hit for me. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Like I really did. Like all those crazy. I'm sure that you saw some of those crazy clips that people were sharing from it of just like how wild it was and, how much like WB product placement or, like IP they threw in there. And like, yeah, isolated, those clips are insane, but like they made sense when you see the movie. You know what I'm saying? But it was very similar to Ready Player One. In the sense of like just every 2 seconds you were getting those like nostalgia feels of like some classic character showing up. But I enjoyed it. A bigger LeBron fan I could not be. A bigger Bugs Bunny fan, my God, I could not be. I've always cited Bugs Bunny as like one of my 3 comedic inspirations. Like it's all like usually when people ask me, it's like Jerry Seinfeld, Mel Brooks, Bugs Bunny. Like that's my 3 dudes. So I really, really enjoy it, and I would suggest. I think your boys would love it.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched it with them yet, and the reason for that is because we've talked about this before. I think with things where like I'm worried that
it won't
hit for them, which will upset me and make me feel bad as a parent for getting upset over them not liking a movie.
Right? Yeah.
It's just like when you like fucking recommend something to your friends or whatever, like, you got to check this out. You got to check out this album or this movie or whatever. And first of all, when they just won't do it, you keep checking in with like, if you check this out yet, and they just won't, and it sucks on both ends. It sucks to be on the other end of that where you're like, damn man, I got my whole life going on. I got a million things on my list. Why are you putting this homework on me? But also, if you're on the other end of it, you're like, this is amazing. And I know they'll love it. And they just won't watch it. You're like, what the fuck? Do I not hit for you? What the fuck is going on? Then the worst is if they do watch it and they're like, yeah, or listen to it. And they're like, yeah, I didn't really see it. I didn't really get it. Then you're like, I don't know you at all. It fucking upsets you.
Corey.
But like, that's the whole thing. But dude, doing that with your children is like another level of that. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like,
I don't know what you mean because I'm not a parent.
But sometimes
and I'll never be one.
Sometimes I will avoid watching or sharing things with them because I'm worried that it won't hit for them, because I know I will get upset by that, and then I'll get upset at myself for being upset, and it's a whole thing. And so that's where I've been with Space Jam, because dude, in part, this is my fault, part of this, but like, this is a goddamn shame in my opinion, but they don't know, they barely know about Bugs Bunny, man. They don't know about the Looney. Yeah. I got 8 and 9-year-old sons, and like they've grown up pretty much without
this is
the Warner Brothers properties, the Looney Tunes. They just don't know about it. And also they're not into sports either. So like,
this is very much going to sound like, because I started this off by saying that Space Jam hit for me, and this is very much going to sound like I'm just low key shilling Warner Brothers, but like, I know you got HBO Max. They got a whole Looney Tunes hub.
I know, and they've like rebooted all the Looney Tunes. I've heard they're good. I've meant to show them.
Here's the thing with Looney Tunes though that I maintain is why I think give it a shot, because all the Looney Tunes shit that I watched when I was a kid and hit super hard for me was all from the 40s and 50s. Like it was the shit my dad watched when he was a kid. So it's not like, oh, well, you got like, it shouldn't have, I should have at that point been like, oh, this shit's, some things are just classic and just are good. And like, I watched the Barber of Seville the other day. And like, I mean, again, like I loved it when I was a kid, but like Bugs Bunny is just so goddamn good, man. Like, you know, there's some of them that I'm sure that they left off of the WB app, you know, all them the war propaganda ones. Yeah,
for sure.
Dude, boy, there are some race, and they're hilarious when you watch them in context. but yeah, my point is like, I don't know that your kids will be like, what is this old shit? Because I didn't feel that way. And it's not like we didn't have new animation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely want to watch it with them. I always been like a little sort of defensive about the first Space Jam, not just for nostalgic reasons, but like people will talk about like how, you know, Michael Jordan, he's an athlete, not an actor.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, he's a fucking terrible actor or whatever. But like, dude, actually think about
he did good.
What that process was like for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It is insane that he performed as well as he did in that movie. He was just standing in a gigantic green room completely alone talking to fucking tennis balls on sticks and shit,
right?
And pretending they were Bugs Bunny, and he's not an actor. He has no training. He's never acted in his life.
Right.
And when you consider all that shit, it's like, dude, he did pretty goddamn good in that movie, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. And I mean, I feel the same way about LeBron. Amber was like, oh, I don't know about this. We went to see it with our niece. She's like, I don't know about this. I'm just like, Amber gets what she calls secondhand embarrassment a lot. Like she doesn't like going to watch stand up because she's like,
is that why when she comes and see you, she
pulls her titty out,
totally blacked out, drunk, and pulls her tits out because otherwise she'll be embarrassed.
We all cope in different ways. You know, everybody's
just got pulled over in this Wendy's drive.
Oh shoot! Keep the phone going over there in case somebody gets shot. But she was like, I don't know. I'm just like, what if LeBron's no good? And I go, well, babe, here's the deal. Like, it's not going to be a fucking DiCaprio performance, but like, it's a kid's movie. Who gives a shit? Like, it'll be fine. And I told her, I was like, also, LeBron's been in movies. LeBron's been in LA. He's been taking acting lessons. Like, this will be fine. And we got through the movie and she was like, he did a really good job. And I was like, yeah. And I hadn't even thought about what all you just said. But like, when you consider what you just said, because that's hell, even more so
true. The thing is, I don't know if it's different now. It may not be different. It may be exactly the same. I don't know. But I don't know how much the technology has advanced. I just know that when Jordan was doing it, it was like tennis balls on sticks in a green room and nothing else.
It was, but like in Space Jam, Jordan had there was a good amount of scenes that he had before he ever went to Toon World.
Right.
You know, there was like one with LeBron, like 1.5 scenes, and then he is either animated or he is LeBron talking to Bugs and them the whole time. You know what I mean?
LeBron has toyed around with Hollywood shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He's done acting stuff. He was in Trainwreck and he's not like in my recollection anyway, Jordan was like, that's like the one thing he ever did.
Yeah.
Whereas LeBron has some experience.
Commercials.
But you're right. No, you're right. He did you're right.
But with both of these dudes, like, it's like, oh my God, can you believe that Michael Jordan and LeBron were able to add another thing they can kind of hit at to their, you don't want to, like the thing is, like, you know, Michael Jordan absolutely took his fucking basketball dedication to that role. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't just he was just like, okay, if I've got to be the best Looney Tune actor I can be, I'm gonna, you know,
gotta be a monkey bear gorilla, baby.
You damn right. But my point is like, the new Space Jam was different animation, but it was wild. It was fun as shit. And hey, all the 4-year-olds in the theater, 2 thumbs straight up from them. You know what I mean?
Well, that hits.
That's it.
Y'all just reminded me of that great Nikki Glazer joke where she's done that roast and Peyton Manning's on the DS and she says, Peyton, you're like an unbelievable actor for real. You're so good at commercials. You're like the Tom Brady of commercials.
She opened that roast by going, Peyton Manning is here. No, Peyton, I'm just letting you know. I know you've been hitting the brain a lot. You're here. You're at a roast.
Dude, she's fucking
She's so
one
good,
of the
man.
absolute best, especially in that scenario.
Corey,
But yeah.
Do you remember Julian G, Corey?
Oh yeah.
He had a bit about what y'all were talking about when your boy is like watching a show you've been hyping. And the bit was funny because he was talking about it's the worst when it's like a slow episode.
Yes.
And you're like, hey, it's going to start soon, cuz. It's going to start soon, cuz. I swear,
Yeah.
I swear. And then by the end of it, you're like, nah, man, this show ain't even that good. Well, Julian saved a woman's life on the tracks recently.
Oh, word?
Yeah, man.
Like she felt like
guy.
she jumped like she was going to end it.
She fell.
Oh.
And one dude was jumped down on the tracks to try and help her. Julian is a train conductor now, and apparently, like they couldn't get a hold. Like it didn't get radioed to him. He just was like very alert and stopped the train like 3 feet from him.
No, I knew he was I knew he was working for them because one time me and Amber were just walking around Forest Hills like. I don't even know if we was doing shows or me and her were just up there visiting and he just popped out of the F train stop and was just like, what's up, man? I was like, what the fuck? And cause like, in New York running into people is wild as hell, sure. Especially in like, a place like Forest Hills where it ain't like nobody when you lived, like when you see somebody, he lives out there now. Okay. Well, in movies and TV and stuff, like you see, like in New York, people just be running into each other all the goddamn time. And I guess like if you both live in Chelsea and you both go to the same grocery store, but like that shit, that's a wild thing when you see somebody in New York or LA. Like that shit is fucking bananas.
Yes, it sure is. Trae, I want to know, like, what all are you keeping from your kids out of fear?
Denty Moore.
The only one, the only thing I can think of off the top of my, but I know that there's been multiple things that I've thought of.
This is a dumb bit, kind of, but how funny would it be if that's the only reason he raised his kids liberal and moved them to California? Yeah. No, it might not hit for them now. They might fucking barbecue and rebel flags is too rad for these kids.
Well, it's funny because it's actually like that, but in reverse is mega true. Do you know what I mean? Like I live in fear of them like being in high school and turning into fucking Charlie Kirk ass motherfuckers. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes, Andy's wanting to have kids, and I tell her that's the only thing I'm afraid of is teenagers because she's like, our lives are going to change. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to go out anymore, but a 14-year-old could get on pills or be a racist or both.
Well, that like kids, like the whole thing is they're contrarian.
Yeah,
they
what happens when you rebel? Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, dude, no, that shit scares the fuck out of me.
Like,
if I
that's
have
why
like
I am the way I am.
Privileged white kids who rebel against their fucking liberal ass daddy and end up being fucking young conservatives or something. Dude, no, I literally live in fear of that. Like that shit terrifies me.
Your kids, though, man, like
there's
I don't think they will.
Your kids
they
are
just
way
like
too,
won't eat Taco Bell at night.
Yeah, like your kids are way too goofy and creative and whimsical and loving and charming and intelligent and empathetic. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that as an insult at all.
But dude, it's a whole thing with me. The older one.
I mean, it is
the older one. The older one has been a vegetarian for moral reasons,
bro.
Literally since he was like 4 or 5 years old.
Well, this is how they're rebelling. It's because you're like you're screaming at the TV when the balls lose.
Please understand, though, I genuinely wasn't doing a bit like where I was just being like, "Your kids are soft ass." No,
but they are though.
See, that's the thing. I know, like, but that wasn't what.
Dude, no, I'm telling you, man. Balancing this whole thing, I don't want them to turn into fucking Charlie Kirk ass motherfuckers, obviously, like we're talking about. But at the same time, it's so funny how sometimes I'll look at them and I'll be like, fucking California. I never should have brought you.
Yeah, they're gonna have top knots and do yoga, bro.
Right? Yeah, because dude, they're like like that, man. They are like that.
That rules.
And I'll get for sure, but they'll
get so much pussy or dick or both or whatever they want.
Both, dude. Both at the same time in their mouth and their butts, wherever they want.
My main thing is like you got to be able to, dude. I just like for me, I think I'm actually very, very, very emotionally resilient and otherwise when it comes to fucking hardships and stuff, because nothing hit for me as a child. Right.
God.
And of course, I don't want to torture them as children. I don't want to torture them as children just so that happens.
Yeah.
But the inverse of that, where I just look at them, I'll get mad at them sometimes where I'm like, they get real upset about something. And I'll just be like, this is fucking nothing. You know what I mean? I just want to grab them. I just want to grab them and be like, fucking, you have no idea what this fucking world
it's that whole paradox
to you. Okay. You do not understand. You like this
it's
world will chew you up and spit you out, and you got to fucking man up if you're going to fucking deal with it like that time. And Katie, of course, Katie is just like, Trae, Jesus Christ, calm down. And I'm like, they got to fucking know. They got to know this shit.
It sounds like you might be providing that for them.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't. That has happened. That thing has happened, but it's not like a regular thing. But I'm saying I struggle with balancing that out where I'm like, I hear Katie and I'm like, yeah, you're right. That was out of line. I did not need to do that. But then there's another part of me that's like, no, God damn it. They do need to understand this shit. They need to understand this shit, and it's a fucking whole thing.
They do, but it's that whole thing where like every parent ever is just like the cliche is like, if your kids didn't have it better than you had it, then you failed as a parent. Like all I want to do is make sure that my kids have a better life than I do. And then, but with the kids, it's like, God forbid though, then they actually start having a better life. Dude, and the parents like, God fucking damn it.
I saw this meme. I saw this meme on Black Twitter that killed me. That was like, it was something like, it was like, parents, I want my kids to have a better life than I have. Parents, when their kids start to have a better life than they had. And it was like fucking Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out making a fucking what the fuck face, like staring at him like, what the fuck is your problem? It's obviously, I don't know why I tried to translate a meme into podcast format.
It's funny because
it's very, very
I saw
accurate.
the same meme
That's how
I translated it into podcast format so that I could say it. And then you did the meme, that's really hit for me. I saw that same meme.
So you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yes. That's why I brought up what I just said. Right. But I translated it from meme form into podcast form
all the time. Where it's
by the way, hey, did you know that Daniel Kaluuya is British?
Yeah, I did. Dude, they all are.
I know, but
they're
I just
all fucking British.
I just found that out yesterday. No, I know, dude. I found that out yesterday.
I'm not just saying the black ones.
No,
the southern ones and the black ones. We can't have nothing.
We can't have nothing in this goddamn country.
Yeah, but no, he was on an episode of Doctor Who I was watching yesterday, and I was like, wait, word? And he sure. I mean, again, that's totally fine. That's fine. It's fine. Things are fine.
Well, see, okay, like real quick, let's talk about it. It's such a huge thing now in Hollywood where it's like a gay character's got to be played by a gay actor and that type of thing, right? But I remember, dude, she's an awesome actor. She's great. I don't even remember her name without looking it up.
Tremendous.
She's a very awesome actor. And she's a black British woman. And she got nominated for a bunch of awards for playing Harriet Tubman in a Harriet Tubman biopic.
Yeah.
And it's like, part of me is like, they couldn't find a American black woman to do that. Somebody who's like way more directly connected. Like, I don't know. On the one hand, I'm annoyed by that whole type of talk. So I don't want to be one of those people. But on the other hand, I'm like, if this is going to be such a whole thing,
how far down the line do you go?
Right. Yeah, exactly. At what point do you draw the line? Like, there's plenty of fantastic black American actresses who I'm sure would have loved to have that role. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but no one, like, I don't know.
Definitely think the argument is like, this is the only one that I could make for it would be like, when it's like, hey, we don't want a straight person playing a gay person. It's literally just because of representation. Like, that like we so very rarely get to do this, or like we've been underrepresented. And with the black thing, it's like, well, in general, black people have been underrepresented in Hollywood. So who gives a shit? Like, as long as they're, as long as
they're black.
Well, as long as they're not right, as long as they're not putting Mickey Rooney in blackface and making him Harriet Tubman, you know what I mean? Like that's at least but I do agree with you because like at a certain point, like the only reason I agree with you is because it gives the other motherfuckers like something to argue with of like, okay, so then I guess if Daniel Day-Lewis, we should have just got somebody that already had their goddamn legs bashed up to play, you know, what's his face and blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, that'd be my only thing. But like,
see, dude, I think that movie you're talking about with Daniel Day-Lewis, My Left Foot or whatever.
Yeah.
I swear to God, God, I sound like such a fucking boomer right now, but I swear to God, I think if that movie was getting made right now, there would be people who would get upset about Daniel Day-Lewis.
There probably were then too.
Dude, I don't think so. That movie came out, dude. My Left Foot came out in like the fucking 90s or something. I don't think anybody gave a fuck back then.
I think everybody always gave a fuck. It's just there wasn't Twitter. I mean, that's how I feel. Like they're all like people, you know, people always say like, oh, you know, God damn it, back when we were kids, we used to say faggot all the time and nobody cared. The gay people didn't care. It's like, yes, they did. They absolutely cared.
Well, just the other thing that just bothers me, and we've talked about this before, and again, I know how I sound whenever I bring this up, and we have talked about it before, but it's like that fucking this never ever gets mentioned by anybody when the roles are poor white trash fucking hillbilly characters, right? Ever.
And we are very underrepresented.
British people and Australians or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
That goddamn movie that frankly I refuse to watch because of the shit we're talking about, even though it's got a lot of people in it that really hit for me. The Devil All the Time or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a movie made up entirely of a cast of fucking like white trash redneck characters.
Yeah.
Every single person in that is foreign. Everyone, they're not even American. And like no one, this never ever gets brought up in those scenarios ever.
I get when it's like one person, you know what I mean? Like what, like, you know, look, when it comes to a production company, they've got to make box office. So like if they have one guy that like Daniel Craig,
a draw,
you got to have a draw.
Yeah.
But I'm with you in that, like, you can look at that and then go, okay, we've taken this person and made them representative of this group of people. Let's at least get some fucking actual like Walton Goggins or W. Earl Brown. Let's get some actual Southern character. But like, you know, I'm never going to be mad when, like, you know, when Daniel Craig plays the Frank Underwood type shit and Knives Out hits for me. And I'm like, look, it's box office, man. I'm not stupid. Like there's certain, like, yeah, there's Southern, like, oh, this guy's way more Southern. Why isn't he the lead in this? Well, it's because nobody fucking knows who he is, and they spent $10 million on this goddamn movie. That's
I'm totally with you on that. I feel the same way. That it's just like when the whole goddamn cast is made up.
I agree.
Fucking foreigners,
and you know,
and it's like,
and you know, there's plenty,
right? And especially when this whole other narrative is such a thing in Hollywood right now,
right? Drew, like, you been arrested?
It just doesn't.
I hope so.
Are you standing guard right now?
No, I just pulled out, baby. About to go get me some food. I was going to go to this Taco Bell drive-thru while I was on the phone with you.
Okay, no, you fine. I just saw the flashing lights, and it looked like you were walking around, and I thought you were pulling a Drew thing where you were just like, I'm going to go up and stand next to this cop and see if there's some fucking shit being talked.
Well, no, I watched them for a while, and they've got them out of the car, but they're not in cuffs or anything. I don't know what's going on with them, but like...
Were they white?
Yeah.
That's fine.
There wasn't no bullshit going on.
Yeah.
Seemingly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can wrap it up before Drew goes to jail.
Yeah, for sure. I for real though. Like I saw that Drew's mic was muted, and I saw the lights, and I was like, I think that me and Trae are sitting here bullshitting about representation in Hollywood, and Drew is like literally about to get beat with a stick. So I feel
like Drew's been watching this arrest situation go down, and he's been sitting there staring at it like
hard as a rock.
Yeah.
Say something. Say something.
Like some fucking bullshit's going on over there.
I wish a motherfucker would.
Well,
he's been wishing a motherfucker would this whole time.
Yeah.
I've been wishing a motherfucker would since 2006. But I did get out of my car and change, but like I got out of my car in my underwear by those cops. So if you want to know if white guy privilege is real, 7 cops, I just got out of the car in my underwear. One of them looked at me and turned back around.
Of course, you'll have that. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all listening to us here at the WellRED podcast, and also watching us on YouTube. Our brand new, we got a new little situation going here with StreamYard. I like it. I think it's cool. This weekend, We're going to be in Birmingham doing it again, baby. July 23rd, 24th at Stardome in Birmingham, Alabama. Go to wellredcomedy.com for tickets. WELLRED comedy.com. Come see us on the road. We miss y'all, and be safe, and we love you. And skew.
Yeah. And
thank you all
for
listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and skew. Later, boys.
See ye.
They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They're on tour, and you should go see them tour. They're coming to Birmingham, Alabama this coming weekend, and all of these other places too. Skew.